Now, France's Charles de Gaulle aircraft carrier is currently en route to the Middle East. Earlier this week, French President Emmanuel Macron pulled the French flagship out of deployment in the North Atlantic, sending it to protect French and Allied assets as the US-Israel war on Iran rages on. For more on this, I'm joined in the studio now by our reporter, Clovis Casali. Good to have you with us, Clovis. Let's talk about the French strategy in this war in the Middle East. France sending its Charles de Gaulle aircraft carrier to the Mediterranean Sea.
And to the eastern part of the Mediterranean Sea, to be precise, close to Cyprus. Why? Of course, because it's an EU member state that was attacked by Iranian drones, or should I say a British base in Cyprus attacked. And actually the British Prime Minister is currently on his way to Cyprus to see this base, presumably. And the entourage of the French president has told us that this morning Emmanuel Macron spoke on the phone to Giorgia Meloni, the Italian Prime Minister, as well as to the Greek Prime Minister. Why? Well, to discuss coordinating the sending of military means to Cyprus and to the Mediterranean Sea. Also with a goal to achieve the freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. Coming back to the Charles de Gaulle, what is it? It's basically the flagship of France that carries some 20 planes, several frigates and submarine. And this morning, the Minister for Armed Forces, Catherine Vautrin, repeated France's clear strategy. And one word keeps coming up, that's defensive. Take a listen to Catherine Vautrin.
As the president stated in his address to the French people Tuesday evening, France is mobilizing to protect our citizens, our facilities, and the support we provide to countries with which we have defense agreements. This means France's position is strictly defensive. To be clear, as I've already told you, we are not engaged in this war offensively, we're acting defensively, and we're not talking about sending troops.
And Clovis, some voices here in France very worried that France is about to be dragged into this war.
Absolutely. And this morning, a bit of a funny situation with first the news that France would allow US planes to go to French bases in the region. Actually, a few media outlets were reporting that the French army dismissed that information, saying it's not the case. The US are going to be allowed to send their planes to a French base set in France, only if these US planes aren't taking part in operations in Iran. So a bit of a change there. The US planes would be allowed to go to that base if they are helping, defending countries in the region, say the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, countries like that. Why is this important? Because France has been targeted. Its main base in the Gulf region is in Abu Dhabi with 900 soldiers and civilians. It was attacked by Iranian drones. No casualties, but still some logistical damage there. And France clearly is part of the war in some ways, not in an offensive way, but it's basically securing skies over the United Arab Emirates, over nations like that are allies of France. There are defense agreements that mean that if some of these nations are victim of an aggression from the outside, say from Iran, France is allowed to defend these nations, and that's why it's securing these skies. However, France not planning to attack targets or hit targets on Iranian soil. That would clearly be a red line for Tehran. Tehran has already said that if France hits targets on Iranian soil, it will be seen as an aggression, a red line, but it's not the aim of France for the time being.
Clovis Casali, thank you very much.